What is up, you guys? I got something very nice, very good, very delicious, very special for you. I got 3 books that will change your life. Number 1, Managing Oneself by Peter F. Drucker. 2 of these books are very short but very powerful books. Okay, so Managing Oneself by Peter F. Drucker is learning about your skills, right? Because we have to build on not learning about your skills, but developing your skills. He talks about making sure that you learn who you are as a person, but also what your strengths are, because it's better to build off strengths than weaknesses, right? If you're trying to build off weaknesses, it's going to limit you to a certain extent on what you're trying to achieve. But if you build off strengths, then you're already winning. You're already winning because you're building off strengths and you're excelling because you already know that these things are what you're good at. If you know that you're good at something, then I'm not diminishing or saying that you shouldn't try things that you're not good at, but I'm just saying that you should build off your strengths and make them stronger, because that's going to speed up the process a lot more, right? He wants you to learn more about yourself and find out what your strengths are, what you're good at, right? Doesn't mean that you can't try to improve the things that you're not good at, but focus on the things that you are good at, because those are the things that are going to maximize your efficiency, right? Like one of my favorite quotes in here, let's see if I can find it. It's right here. Discover where your intellectual arrogance is causing disabling ignorance and overcome it, right? You have to get past the idea that you don't have to know something because it's out of your area of expertise, right? I know that kind of sounds contradictory to what I just said, but ignorance is disabling. Arrogance is disabling. You can't allow yourself to not want to learn new things, right? Because there are known knowns, things that we know. There are unknown knowns, things that we know that we don't know, but then there are unknown unknowns, things that we don't know, right? So you have to close the gap of the things that you don't know, and even the things you don't know that you don't know. Sounds confusing a little bit, I know. But you need to discover where your intellectual arrogance is causing disabling ignorance and overcome it. Far too many people, especially people with great expertise in one area, are contemptuous of knowledge in other areas. He who is good with a hammer always seems to see every problem as a nail, right? So this is a great fucking book for anyone that wants to maximize their personal growth, in my opinion. And look at this. Look at this. If you can't read this fucking book, then you're fucked. Sorry, you're not fucked. That's mean. I'm not trying to be like that. But I'm trying to be a little blunt because we live in amazing times. You can read this book. If you don't understand something, use ChatGPT and it will tell you what it means. I'm trying to fucking get the root of you, yeah. It'll tell you what it means, all right? So just get this book, Managing Oneself by Peter F. Drucker. It will change your fucking life. I'm telling you. I read it in like an hour or 2 because it's such a small book. When I first got it, it took me longer, but now I can clear right through this fucking book, no problem. Next, On the Shortness of Life by Seneca. Now this book is pretty deep. It's a deep book. It talks about life and how short it is. But he also says that it's not that we don't have a long life, is that we waste so much time. We waste so much of it, right? So this book really puts life in perspective. It shows you that we have lots of time, but we just have to use it effectively. And I think that once you write down what your priorities are, what you think are the most important things to you, then you'll find that that list gets shorter and shorter, and you'll really see what means the most to you and what you really truly need to focus on. And I think that's a great book to really kind of highlight how this philosopher Seneca really trying to find the right word for it, but it's a testament to the shortness of life, and I highly recommend this book to anyone that needs a perspective change. You may not think you need a perspective change, but sometimes we do, and this is a great book for that. 3. Now this one's a little bit of a doozy. This one's for the little higher intensity readers, but this book is called Influence, and Robert Cialdini, PhD, The Psychology of Persuasion. So it talks about the human brain. It talks about it doesn't talk about the 24 cognitive biases, but it talks about I think there's about 12 or 17 in here. I can't remember. Let me just check. It talks about social proof. It talks about scarcity. It talks about authority. It talks about commitment. It talks about unity, right? All of the cognitive biases that go into not only when you buy things, but when you make decisions in your life, right? Like they did a study for authority. They had a person in one room and another person in another room with a doctor that just had a lab coat on, and he looked like he was legit, right? But they said whenever they get an answer wrong, you have to they have to give a shock to that person whenever they get a question wrong. And every time that person in the other room got a question wrong, they weren't actually getting shocked. The test was being done on the person in the room with the doctor, not on the person that was in the other room being quote-unquote shocked. So every time the person got a question wrong, they would have to crank up the ampage, and they went all the way up to like 300 volts or something like that, like something stupid. And the guy was an actor in the other room that was getting the shocks, and he was at the point where he was screaming and saying, "No, please stop, no." But the doctor kept on telling the person to administer the shock to the person. And just because he was an authority, they did it. They did it because he was perceived as a quote-unquote authority, right? You're going to listen to a police officer, you're going to listen to a doctor because they are a quote-unquote authority. There was another study where they had a person jaywalk across the street, and they wanted to see how many people were more willing to follow that person across the street. And that person, the first person they had walk across the street was just a man in regular clothes like me, you know, just a regular Blow Joe, right? And you could probably guess, no one followed him across, right? But when they changed that same person and put him in a fancy suit, and he jaywalked across the street, people followed him. People followed him. They did the same thing, right? Because they thought he's an authority. He's a big man, right? He knows what he's doing, right? So I could probably do the same thing. And then that's when the next one comes in, which is social proof. When we are confused and we don't know what to do, we look at other people. We look to see what other people are doing to see what's right. Because if other people are doing it, then it must be right, right? So this is a fantastic book if you want to understand human psychology and what influences us on the day-to-day basis. You may think that you're not being influenced every single day, but you are. And that's my fucking rant. These are the 3 books I want you to get and I want you to read. If you don't want to read them, then fuck you. But it's going to change your life. So that's your choice if you want to change your life or if you don't. This is my motivational speech. This has been my motivational video, and I hope you liked it, and I hope you read the fucking books. All right? I'll catch you guys on the next one. Yeah.